By the way, I did go see Joe Biden yesterday. You had court and did not go.
Yes, I would have loved to have gone, but unfortunately it was a last minute thing and I wasn't able to make it. And I heard you talking about it. You're not too impressed.
You know,
I don't know if it's just, Jim, I don't know if it's just the fact that just having, just owning WJOB for the last 8 years. I mean, 4 years ago when Hillary Clinton came through here and President Obama came through here, and we even got to see Caroline Kennedy. I think maybe it's just par for the course now for you. Because if you
well,
think about it, it was the Vice President of the United States.
I do think about it, and that's a real honor for the community and so forth. But I just feel as if
Ambivalent? You sound like you're ambivalent about it.
I am ambivalent, and I'll tell you a couple of things. First of all, to maintain some sort of clear judgment, as we try to do here at WJOB, in kind of almost a traditional journalistic sense. I mean, we don't always hit the mark. I understand that, but at least that's what we're aiming for, is to try to be reasonably independent of a lot of different interests. So in doing that, you not only stay away from being swayed by either Republicans or Democrats or Libertarians or the pot-smoking party, whatever it might be, you also have to be reasonably free and independent of the different levels of the politicians and so forth. I'll be right there, okay? And so you are, I don't get, I just don't get it. I know that people get taken in by the office and by the power, by the money, the prestige, and so forth. And I think that just as you are not to be taken in by the parties and all of everybody's agenda, shouldn't be taken in by the level. Does that make sense?
Yes, because in the end they're here to serve the people of the United States. Is that what you're saying?
He's a public servant.
Right.
And I guess the ambivalence also is that Joe Biden came in and he talked about being a defender of the average American worker and helping out the poor and that kind of thing. And I looked around and all I saw were a lot of rich people and some people paying $5,000 just to go in and shake his hand. I see on a regular basis.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, are these rich people, are they the ones that are there representing the poor? Legislators or attorneys, or I don't know. I wasn't there.
I think that, and I had a discussion with Frank Van II, the state senator, and he started to talk about, when all is said and done, that Democrats are the defenders of the average American worker and of the poor. And I said, you know what, that's true to an extent, but I think you have completely lost your way. And I think that the government has gotten very large and that there are a lot of people that are continuing to put that message out there. And those same people are benefiting from the largesse in government and the largesse in regulation. And they're benefiting from this situation, telling a story that isn't always true.
Well, the only thing about you saying that we've gotten so large, it's that I have a problem with people acting as if the government has gotten so large overnight or even in the past 4 years. This government has gotten large over decades, including the prior 8 years to President Obama. I mean, I just love the way people just put on their blinders and act as if nothing before President Obama, has anything to do with the state of the state.
No,
that's
correct.
What people do. I'm not saying you're doing that.
No, I am doing that, but I'm also taking into account that, George Bush had some major problems, and we tried to evaluate him as objectively as we could. But I guess there's just a bit of, I don't want I have a little problem with the Democrats out of this upcoming election making it a class warfare, okay? I just don't find it genuine in a lot of cases, okay? Some of the richest of the rich are Democratic folks that are making money off of the poor people that they pay less and less all the time, okay? And to come out and say that the Democratic Party is the party of the people and of the poor and of the average American worker, I think it's just a little bit ingenuine. Not that they couldn't correct their course a little bit, but I just don't feel it, and I don't want that hypocrisy spoon-fed to me. I just don't. It doesn't set well, and I can't put my finger on it. Does that make sense?
It does to me, yes. I hear what you're saying, but the only other thing is that what is the Republican Party embracing?
I don't know. Here's what happens yesterday, playing out here on WJOB once again. The
Because
Todd Rokita's guys evidently call in and talk to Ryan and Stu, and
unfortunately, I didn't get to hear that.
I
Are we
didn't
going
get
to play it
hear
later?
but Biden's coming to Munster. So Todd Rokita, who's from Munster,
Is like, that's my turf.
takes the opportunity to do a conference call amongst radio stations, or I don't even know who was on. I heard it like you guys did. I turn on the radio, I get up to take a nap, to take a shower, to go over to see the Biden thing, and Todd Rokita's on WJOB just ripping Joe Biden and the catastrophe, the economic catastrophe caused by the Obama-Biden administration.
But do you see where I'm talking? Like, and it's not just Todd Rokita. It's everyone saying that this economic crisis is due to the last 4 years. Come on, we were headed there way before that. The collapse, too big to fail, all those things. So for someone to just act as if it's just something that happened overnight or just something that happened since President Obama, I don't like that either. I don't like that argument. I don't like, it's almost like the opposite of what you're saying as far as, the Democrats saying we are the party of the poor and of the working class. And in Indiana, as far as the party of the working or of the average worker or the blue collar worker or the union worker, I would have to say yes, that the Democrats are that party because the Republicans have passed that right to work legislation, which a lot of the unions and your local, average blue collar workers see as an affront to unions and workers.
Alexis, I agree with you to some extent, but Todd Rokita coming in here, he's having the calling in and doing, and he even mentioned it on the conference call. I'm glad to see that certain radio station has just signed on and whatever, and so obviously Todd understands the importance of talking directly to Northwest Indiana, even though he's elected out of Central Indiana. But in other words, everyone's having a tug of war for the average American right now, and that's what he was saying. He's saying, well, Obama and Biden have forsaken the average American worker, and they're in it with Wall Street, and they're in it with they just want to make government larger and larger so that everyone can spread out the wealth, and they're taking it from the middle class, and then they're spreading it around to large government programs and so forth. And everyone's shooting for the middle class, and I don't feel like anybody's being genuine.